Hi, I'm Adam Rahl, an undergraduate research library fellowship recipient and senior here at The Ohio State University studying German and biochemistry. I'd like to introduce you to a collection in the Rare Books and Manuscripts Library. This summer, I worked with a body of correspondence between modernist poet Hart Crane and his childhood friend George Bryan. Born in Garrettsville, Ohio in 1899, Crane is often remembered for his challenging and intricate poems, including his long poem, The Bridge, published in 1930. Also integral to Crane's story was his turbulent home life, where he often suffered the collateral damage of his parents' fights as their only child. In 1909, after his parents' first separation, he was sent to live with his grandmother in Cleveland, where he met Bryan, who moved to the neighborhood in 1911. For years, Crane and Bryan maintained a close friendship. In the summer of 1916, Crane went with Bryan on a trip to Chautauqua, New York. That December, after publishing his second poem in the literary magazine The Pagan, Crane moved into his first apartment in New York, establishing himself among the Greenwich Village literati. Yet by September 1917, Crane was adrift. He had still not come across long-term paying work in New York, relying instead on the financial support of his father. In April 1918, Crane moved into a new apartment at 78 Washington Place. Bryan visited Crane in New York shortly thereafter. While Bryan was on the train back to Ohio, Crane wrote, "I haven't had as much pleasure and happiness in 2 years as was crammed into those few hours you were here. I am sure you cannot say as much, but you must remember, George, I have been practically starved for any happiness whatever for a long, long time. Write soon, George, because you are the one person who brings me any sense of restfulness and satisfaction." Crane is widely understood to have been gay, although he had one female partner during the year before his death. Crane's letters to Bryan offer a look into a gay man navigating a platonic male friendship in the early 20th century. For the queer reader, it may be particularly compelling to see how Crane turned to Bryan for comfort and support. In May 1918, Crane wrote to Bryan again. Invoking promises of renewal in the springtime, Crane chose green ink to invite Bryan back to New York, adding in jest that he cannot promise any ladies, however. Crane wrote his invitation on paper with a pagan letterhead. Although he had settled into his days as a New Yorker, proud to show off his literary home base at the Pagan, where he would work as an editor until April 1919, Crane remained squarely on the margins. Crane would later disavow his poems published in The Pagan, omitting them in his 1926 collection, White Buildings. His letters to Bryan are remnants from a point in the poet's career when he was still relatively unknown. After spending the holidays in Cleveland and Christmas night with George Bryan, Crane returned to New York by March 1919, writing to Bryan about the difficulties of finding work in the city, especially with the influx of soldiers returning from the First World War. Crane also wrote, "I often long to see you, old boy. Wish you were here tonight for a long, pleasant stroll down Broadway with me. Whenever you chance to remember a confession I told you one night last summer when we were together, remember that it still holds good, and will, for a long, long time." Although the details of this confession may never be exhumed, one wonders if Crane revealed his sexuality to Bryan on that summer night in the city. These letters animate an esoteric figure in American literature. Rather than the brooding, complicated persona Crane is often known for, this correspondence with a childhood friend reveals a more relatable version of the young poet. One on the precipice of success while navigating his feelings, friendships, and struggles as he discovers life in a new city. To learn more about the collection of Hart Crane's correspondence, or the possibilities within the Rare Books and Manuscripts Library, visit the Ohio State University Library's website. Thank you for watching.